Time now for our Life and Info segment where we focus on information that's hopefully useful for your everyday life. Today, we are going to talk about the so-called gig economy in South Korea and how we can all get involved, perhaps to make a little extra cash along the way. Our Ko Roon-hee is in the studio for more. Thank you for joining us, Roonhee. Start off by telling us what the gig economy actually is.
So, Mark, gig economy generally refers to a labor market where temporary positions are more common than permanent jobs. So this is actually really different from the traditional economy where you are used to full-time workers wanting to work for a long time. And American management consulting firm provided a more precise definition. McKinsey Company defined the gig economy as a contingent work that is transacted on a digital marketplace. So this excludes ongoing part-time employment and freelance work that is not contracted on an online talent platform. And by digital marketplace, it includes mobile applications like Uber. So if you have worked as a driver in a ride-sharing service or as a host in Airbnb, you are part of the gig economy.
Okay, so now we have a much clearer sense of what a gig economy is, but let's focus on South Korea here. We've all heard of companies like Airbnb and Uber, and the vast majority of us have actually used those services as well. But can you give us some local examples of companies involved in the gig economy?
Sure. So there are many digital marketplaces that offer a gig economy experience. And today I want to introduce you to some popular ones in Korea where people can actually share their talents. And first is an activity platform service called Fripp. If you sign into the Fripp application, you can meet diverse so-called hosts providing lessons. I actually use this app quite often, and it varies from sports, culture, travel, cooking, and more. And so, for instance, if you're a talented photographer, you can advertise yourself and your career, and people can pay and sign up for some classes or get tips from you. I actually met someone who is a popular host on the Fripp platform. So he holds wine classes after work by using his experiences in the field. Let's take a look. So Lee Do-kyung works in the finance industry, and after he gets off work, he holds wine classes. And his classes deal with the history and basics of wine, and of course, tasting it with delicious food. Lee uses the Fripp application to advertise his classes. And when I visited his class, about 15 students were there on a weekday at around 7:30 p.m., when most of Korean workers get off work. And he told me why he's been doing this for a while.
When I come here, I feel recharged and relaxed because the attendees pay attention to my classes. I learned about wine in France, and I want to inform people who have an interest in wine.
Well, that class looks very interesting indeed, especially to me. I like a glass or bottle of wine occasionally. I'm more of a white fan rather than a red fan. Do you have a preference?
I like wine.
Good. I like a nice Chardonnay. Perhaps if I attended that class, he'd be able to tell me which food combination it goes well with. I believe it is fish and lighter food, but we'll get into wine another day. But I hear that fashion is another really big topic involved in this gig economy. People are learning about fashion through applications, I hear. Not really that surprising considering, as we all know, many young Koreans are absolutely mad about fashion.
Yes, you are right. And actually another example of people selling their talent is actually happening in the fashion field. And I met someone as well and experienced the program myself. And Jang Kyung-hee is a fashion director, and after work, she provides fashion advice to people in need of a new style and uses a similar application to advertise her program. So before we met, I had to send her like 4 photos of me in my usual outfit, and when we met, we discussed about my current style and how I can change it. The real fun started when we went to the mall together. She recommended me various sets of outfits. And the lesson usually takes like 2 hours, and Chang says she's happy to share her experience with others.
Because I am a designer with a lot of experience, I am sharing my know-how with others. I think having confidence in one's clothes is extremely important in being confident about oneself.
Well, I think everyone can agree with that. If you have nice clothes on that fit you well, then you're going to feel much more good about yourself. And I hear that you actually purchased some of the clothes she suggested, right? And I look forward to seeing you wear those around the office because you have your own distinct style, it's fair to say, Roonhee, but a good one at any point. But we've established then that many local people are really starting to make use of these gig economy services, and also some bigger companies are now starting to move into the space.
Of course, Korean e-commerce platform Coupang did something related to the gig economy, and it's actually creating jobs in the delivery sector. Basically, people can sign up to make deliveries and earn some extra money in their free time. Coupang actually said they started this to flexibly deal with unexpected demands. About 4,000 people participate on average per day. And I talked to an employee about the matter.
Housewives who have experienced career breaks and retirees can start a new job here. It's the same for people who are free for a short period of time.
Okay, so we've heard from both sides of the story there. It really seems like the gig economy is here to stay. Are there any projections for what it's going to be like in the future? And will this shift in the way that people are being employed, is it going to have any drawbacks for the majority of us?
So according to McKinsey Company, the future is actually really bright for the gig economy. And it provided specific details, including on terms like GDP and number of jobs. So online talent platforms, including websites like LinkedIn and digital marketplaces for services like Uber, have potential to increase global GDP by $2.7 trillion by 2025. And up to 540 million individuals could benefit from online talent platforms by 2025. However, some analysts pointed out there are things to look out for.
In the gig economy, workers in these platforms lack some conditions, including social insurance, like employment insurance. There are concerns over labor safety.
Well, I suppose you have to take the rough with the smooth, and we all know now that the days of having a job for life are pretty much over, so these are the modern times we're living in. Roonhee, thank you very much for coming in and sharing your report with us today.
Thank you, Mark.